everyone. I'm Terry Slather. I'm the Field Support Marketing Manager for Utopia Global. We thank you for joining us for our webinar today, the ultimate knockout round, Master Data Solutions, MDM versus MDG. You may ask questions throughout the webinar via the question pane on your GoToWebinar toolbar, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. We will be recording today's webinar, and we'll send out a link shortly after the completion of the event. Today's speaker is John Ferrioli. John is the Senior Vice President of Master Data Solutions at Utopia Global. He's responsible for empowering clients with knowledge and best practices associated with enterprise data management. And John has worked with enabling technologies and enterprise applications for nearly 20 years, helping clients overcome business challenges through process improvement and leveraging data as an asset. Prior to joining Utopia, he was the Vice President of SAP NetWeaver Platform and Master Data Management at SAP America. He is an expert on Master Data Solutions and a featured speaker on enterprise data management. With that, John, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Terry, and thanks to all who are joining today. With that introduction, I'd like to dive right in and hopefully share some insights and perhaps some surprises about the comparisons between NetWeaver MDM and SAP Master Data Governance, two solutions that help organizations govern and manage their information as an asset. And from an agenda perspective, I have it right in front of us, is that we're going to be talking about the comparative technologies. They are enabling technologies. They are for consideration, and hopefully we provide some insights there. And then we'll talk about some key considerations for information governance holistically. So technology is a piece of the pie, but it's obviously about people and process leveraging that enabling technology. And hopefully at the end of the day, in this event today, the audience has a good appreciation of which tool, when and where, and directionally where SAP is going. With that, I will jump right into the presentation. And just a quick overview on who is Utopia. Some folks may know us, some folks may not. So very quickly, Utopia is an enterprise data solutions consultancy. We're not a software company. However, we do leverage leading technologies, obviously from SAP and other providers. We are a global services company, and we focus purely on sustainable enterprise data solutions. We view data as an asset from how it's created through its end of life. And along the way, there's going to be management of that data, migration of that data, the quality, integrity of the data, how it's managed, distributed, how that data is analyzed with analytics, and ultimately retired and archived. So we live and breathe data, and ultimately our viewpoint is that the actionable insights of your business, the key decision making, your competitive differentiation, is dependent on the reliability of that source data. And frankly, that data is the foundation for your information management roadmap. Garbage in, garbage out, in a nutshell. And so what we try to do and work very diligently with our customer base is to improve their investments and ROI on software and IT by developing data lifecycle strategies, helping define processes for creation, management, and governance of the data, helping to extract value through actionable insight and analytics. And we have received some recognition along the way. So we were recognized by SAP as their go-to-market partner for data migration and enterprise information management. We were the SAP Services Partner of the Year in 2010. And we also have a global footprint. So we're about 500 folks strong around the world, offices, whether it's in the United States or Canada or throughout the world in Dubai, London, Argentina, Australia, and the Center of Excellence in Bangalore. We try to always focus on the business process and the reporting integrity, and obviously the root cause is the data. So the systems are only as good as the data that they execute against. In addition to being recognized by SAP, we're also recognized by Gartner, something we're very proud of. So in 2011, we were recognized as a cool vendor, and in 2012, we were recognized for our specialty expertise around master data. And not master data, the tool, but master data management, the process. So our domain is represented here with some kind words from Andrew White. But the key point I want to focus in on is that we focus on the data model, the entity relationship, how that data is going to be behaving, how it is consumed from the repository, and then ultimately the org structure, the support, and how do you sustain data stewardship to get the business results that MDM can deliver. When we talk about team and process and people, this is key because ultimately MDM, and you're going to hear me say MDM a lot. In this webinar, I'll focus more on MDM, the process for this conversation, and then we'll get deeper into MDM, the product. But MDM is a process, and it is a strategy to helping organizations get a single view of the data so that you can save time, money, and frustration. And along the way, optimize your business processes and your reporting integrity. The end result is, what we're trying to get to is, can you bet your job on the reports coming out of your production systems? Do you have that degree of confidence? And since 80% of a business process is master data, it's a key indicator as to whether or not your process will be optimized, whether it's inventory or procurement or supply chain or financials, or do you have the confidence in the integrity in your reporting? When we look at the team deciding who supports master data management as a process, it's the old 80-20 rule. And 80% of the pain is around the people in the organization. And these are the folks who have to own the data, the trustees, the stewards. Who's responsible? Who sets data policy? Who establishes standards? For example, how do you abbreviate St. John's Street? How do you abbreviate ball bearing? The data quality metrics, and ultimately change management. The process dimensions of creating and updating, discontinuing or archiving or purging invalid or inactive data from the system. How do you ensure data quality? By profiling and analyzing. This is all people and process. And then defining service level agreements. For example, for data creation, how long does it take us to create a material master? What if we can save some time, money in that process, getting the right information from the right systems into production so that we can launch products more intelligently, in a more accelerated way? And so we want to equate, in this example, how do we streamline new product introduction, if you're a CPG company, by ensuring we're creating a finished good new product with good, reliable data, right? Data creation to get the product out the door. So people and process is about 80% of the equation, and ultimately the technology, the enabling technology, and the role of IT is a critical 20%, because this is all about automation. This is all about saving time and money and frustration. And IT is obviously a key component and partner in this, because you're talking about the system readiness, the availability of the data, how it's secured, the ultimate integration loaded, and details about the data, such as where is it coming from and that metadata behind it. So it is a balance between the two. And as we dive in a little bit deeper, we talked about people at a high level and enabling technologies. What I want to walk you through now is just a simple flow of the master data management process for creating data. And you'll note that I didn't say creating data in SAP, because these solutions from SAP are both platform and application agnostic. So we're looking at this creation scenario and maintenance, leveraging an enabling technology, in this case SAP MDG. And that data can go into a central master data repository where enterprise data is common, defined, and the data model is agnostic to application. So if you have SAP for order to cash, but Siebel for CRM, and a third party for HR and others. You're going to want to have that data model defined to support those business applications and how that data will be consumed. So for example, if you're using 48, if there's 100 attributes for the customer master, and 48 of the attributes are required to execute order to cash, but Siebel for marketing and Salesforce automation requires 52 attributes. You can distribute the right attributes to the specific business application, SAP or non-SAP, and then execute that process and then drive reporting. When that data is harmonized accordingly for the consuming application into the BI system or SAP HANA, right, your reporting integrity is ensured because it's executing against good data, the garbage in, garbage out. So this process flow starts with getting the data right and enforcing your standards at the point of creation. And so now as we dive a little bit deeper, okay, now that we have a high-level view of a single system of record for master data management, for multiple objects in a distributed SAP, non-SAP world, we'll talk about how do you get there. So our approach, and I'm going to get into the technology very soon, MDM versus MDG, but our approach is to start at the foundation, and this starts with your data strategy. And these are incremental builds, but common sense dictates is that we do not want to stampede into the go-live. And what that means is that from my past experience where at SAP, where I was responsible for the launch of the NetWeaver MDM solution, and I own the NetWeaver platform solutions, including BW, including when Business Objects was acquired. We just don't want to stampede into a go-live. So establishing a data strategy is key. And then from this model, what we can do is understand the data governance organization, the maturity of the organization, and that determines what tactics we use, right? Are you ready to execute against a Six Sigma standard, for example? And what are the policies and workflows, right? Getting these strategies done first is a key enabler to our next phase, which is understanding the data. And what we call a data health assessment, we want to get our arms around the data. We want to understand its strengths, but also its weaknesses. We want to look for patterns in the data that expose how business and reporting integrity is jeopardized. Basically, providing evidence versus anecdotes relative to the data. And that way you can say, we need to get the data clean with data quality management. And this is defining your data quality business and validation rules, your ETL considerations, and your business requirements. And now, once we have this foundation, then we can streamline very, very efficiently into master data management, the process. And whether we're talking about SAP MDM or SAP MDG, master data governance, the technology is moot because the technology is an execution against your policy, against your rules, against your standards. And it automates and streamlines those processes for data creation and data maintenance and management. But you're going to have to define the taxonomy and the data model. You're going to have to get your arms around the data quality rules. And so all these considerations is a good framework to consider relative to how you have an incremental program approach, a framework to enable information governance. And in 30 seconds or less, from an elevator pitch, this is what we're talking about as you're trying to sell this idea. We want to set a strategy. I need to understand the data, have some evidence. I need to get the data clean and keep it clean. And then ultimately, because I want to be able to make my decisions consistently over time, not just an event but a life cycle, I want to manage the data for the life cycle. And I'll talk about the enabling technologies now and how you bring this strategy forward. So let's look at a typical landscape for an SAP-esque customer. You will have SAP applications and you'll have non-SAP applications. You may have just the reporting solutions from Business Objects, or you might just be a new Ariba customer, or you might be a SuccessFactors. The point is that you will have various systems across your enterprise, and you might have a single instance of SAP, but you might also have other non-SAP applications. The point, of course, is that these containers, represented metaphorically by the glasses of water, is that you have disparate apps with different data quality sets. And some of that data is crystal clear because it's really governed and managed well, like financial data, because of the compliance requirements. And some of that data may be a little murky, right, like customer or material master. And some may downright be not so good at all. So the first thing we want to consider is when you're talking about managing master data, regardless of tool, the data has to be right. Because if you're going to be doing an existence check, you know, for the record create, you don't want to have 19 duplicates that pop up and your user says, well, you have 19 duplicates. Which one do you want to pick? It'll drive them crazy. So getting the data and understanding what data is clean, what's not, is a priority. In this instance, SAP, and we recommend, Utopia recommends Information Steward. This is a data profiling and analytics tool that allows you to get your arms around the business rules, get your arms around the metadata, and profile and analyze the data in a consistent way against defined data quality metrics that you can measure, you can manage, right, and you can take action against. So understanding the data is a first tactical step, and Information Steward, which is integrated with both solutions, is an excellent application and solution to leverage from an EIM perspective. If we go down, once you understand that your data is not so clean, we need to get the data clean. So understand the data, get the data clean. In this case, the cleansing environment for SAP is SAP Data Services. This is a world-class ETL as well as data quality solution. It is quite robust in its ability to scale. It has proven itself time and time again, whether it's data migration or data management, for getting the data clean, right? If you have a system of record that says Bob, Rob, Robert, and Bobby, you can consolidate all those customers into a single view of the customer, and it works just as well on material or any other object type. But getting the data clean is key, and the solution there is data services. SAP MDM is not a data quality tool. It's a master data management tool. So you have to use the right tool for the right job, and in this case, data services as a outstanding ETL, data integration, and data quality tool, all in one in data services. So now let's talk about some product additionally. NetWeaver MDM. So in my experience with SAP, I led the global rollout of MDM. I'm a huge fan of it. I've seen reference customers win numerous awards and accolades for what they were able to achieve with MDM, NetWeaver MDM, and I've also seen customers completely frustrated. And I think that's logical because it's only the core reference data that all your applications and business processes and reporting tools execute against. So if you get it right, like they have at Kraft and they have at BP and they have at Lexmark with NetWeaver MDM, you win awards, you get great accolades from Gartner, and you see great business success. If you get it wrong, if you stampede to the go-live without focusing on the data model with MDM, you're going to have lots and lots and lots of challenges. So it's not so much the app as much as it's the data model and the consumption. But the design of MDM, NetWeaver MDM, and now we'll getting a little deeper into the products, is that NetWeaver MDM was designed as a central master data repository to consolidate and to harmonize master data from disparate sources. So all those glasses of water in different quality had to be cleaned up and then put into MDM, this central repository. And now you have a single view of the customer, or the material master, or the vendor master, of the location, with an extensible data model. But it's written in C++. It has a different UI than SAP. It has different workflow. It has a data-centric Visio workflow. Now you can integrate it with BPM and other tools, but effectively it is a acquired solution back in 2004, and SAP incorporated it into the NetWeaver stack, gave it integration with Solution Manager, but also integration with Data Services, integration with Information Steward, integration with Business Objects Enterprise for reporting, and SAP BW. But the thing and the theme of MDM, NetWeaver MDM, is that this is a central repository to consolidate and harmonize. So to take those 100 attributes, this example, 100 attributes for the customer master, and say 48 go to Siebel, 52 go to SAP for order to cash, and you have a single view of the customer. And then you distribute this to these many glasses of water of SAP and non-SAP. Now, what SAP has done is, in their evolution, is that they took that general standard idea, which was market leading at the time, and saying bringing together data in consolidated format is good, but it's not great. So what can be done? Well, you need to ensure data integrity at the point of creation. You can't constantly be cleaning data. You can't be doing laundry all the time. So if we're investing all this time and effort to cleanse and standardize the data and to enforce policy once it's in the MDM repository in a consolidated way, how do we make sure data is consistent going in? Well, introducing SAP MDG, Master Data Governance. Single record create with integrity. So your business rules, your standards, your SAP logic, okay, are evoked and enforced at the point of creation. So as you create the new customer record that says Bob Thompson, it may do a cross-reference and existence check and say, do you mean Robert Thompson, not Bob? Or is this a familiar and we're going to incorporate the rules based on probability? The key for MDG is that MDG is now a embedded SAP application built on the ABAP stack, not C++, with business logic native integrated into SAP, and that you are creating data with integrity at the point of creation, enforcing rules, standards, validations, and authorizations. In addition to the single record create with SAP MDG, SAP MDG also allows for mass upload. So if you have a customer master list or a vendor master or a material master and it's sitting in an XML flat file, or if it's sitting in an Excel spreadsheet, you can grab that spreadsheet, you can do and execute master data governance and bring that record in for mass upload right into ECC. And so SAP best practice is information governance holistically driven by MDG. And it's the next evolution going forward. This evolution then takes us to SAP Master Data Governance on an ABAP stack, and ECC is the source of the data for all your distributed landscape, for SAP and for non-SAP. So it's integrated, it's designed from the ground up on the ABAP stack, and it has solution extensions on top of it. What's missing, though, in MDG are a couple of key things. One, the consolidation scenario. So what SAP has been promoting is SAP MDM to consolidate and harmonize, and MDG for data creation and maintenance and mass updates. And that consolidation scenario is one place we can look to have a single view. But again, it's good, but it's not great. So as we dig into MDM, we're going to just talk about MDM, the product right now. Central Repository Data Consolidation and Harmonization. This is an SAP slide. It goes back a few years, but basically it suggests that you've got data in all different applications, and the source of the data is within that app. ERP1, ERP2, a sourcing app, a manufacturing app, a procurement app. What MDM does is consolidate into a single record for an optimized landscape of SAP and non-SAP data to distribute, but also to maintain and manage that data. Not to clean, that's what Data Services for. Data Services is for, but to have a central repository to manage. And from here you can consolidate the record, you can harmonize the record, distribute it, and govern the data. And that's MDM. You're making sure that for every business process across a SAP, non-SAP landscape, you have the right line of sight for business, but you have the right data. Again, 80% of a business process is master data. So which employee, which product, which vendor, which customer, and that data is served up from the hub into the application and then consumed and executed against for business process and reporting. The other cool thing that SAP MDM has, and is truly world-class, is a e-business catalog, or PIM solution, Product Information Management. SAP extended this and called it a Product Content Management. World-class, outstanding catalog. You can search based on parameters. You can store images, graphics, PDFs, material safety data sheets. You can align structured and unstructured content in a single repository. This is a significant differentiation from SAP MDG. From a product catalog perspective, MDM, NetWeaver MDM, as an e-business catalog or PIM or product content management solution, is truly world-class in a differentiation. And there are many, 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 many customers using this today with SAP and non-SAP data. Now, SAP Master Data Governance, that's our MDM piece. Now let's talk about MDG, creating and maintaining data for the lifecycle. You've got a natively built application on top of SAP ECC, built in ABAP, natively integrated with SAP Business Suite and in ERP. You get to reuse the SAP data model for customer, vendor, for financial, as well as for the material master. You're able to instantiate the existing business logic from SAP and the configuration from SAP for the creation and validation and maintenance of master data. And along the good to great, going from consolidation is good but not great, in best practice for information governance is MDG. Now you're into governing the data, compliance and transparency, managing service level agreements. So you have consistency. What's the point of going live on SAP and implementing and going through a data migration exercise where you're consolidating and getting the data clean so you can load ready and go live if you can't maintain the data the day after the go live or a year after the go live? Your systems will go back to that muddied water that I showed you at the beginning because you can't enforce policy in an automated way. You can only do it manually, and it's very, very painful and slow and costly. So MDG gives you that consistent data quality. There's a runtime of the Business Objects Data Services solution for data quality and data enrichment, as well as validating if there's an existence. And as well, it's integrated with NetWeaver MDM, and they complement each other. So I put together this chart to show some of the functionality in comparison between MDM and MDG and what they've thematically been represented as. Both support SAP and non-SAP data. That's a key message I want everyone to appreciate. But both have a delivered data model, MDM and MDG. But the architectures are different. C++ for MDM, ABAP for MDG. There's a workflow component within MDM which is Visio-based, and you can also integrate with BPM, but that's another technology. MDG gives you the business rules framework plus workflow solution. And this supports your validations, an out-of-the-box process-centric application for the creation of master data, the reuse of SAP business logic within MDG for data maintenance and uploads. You do have a creation scenario, a central master data create scenario in SAP MDM, and there's a number of customers out there probably on this line that are using that today. But what SAP has done is bringing a significant amount of content to MDG as the next generation for greater appreciation of that scenario for data creation in MDG over MDM. The user interface in MDM, well, you could use the portal, you could use a Java page, you could use a front end. In MDG, you have the common look and feel of the SAP UI, SAP GUI, and you can also leverage the NetWeaver Business Client. And it's a more user-centric design with authorizations and access control. With the integration with Business Suite, MDG also differentiates itself a little bit further than MDM. Although they are integrated, it's much more native with MDG. But MDM has the global data synchronization for CPG and retailers who are looking to collaborate and trade, have trade information, right? So when a big CPG cereal manufacturer wants to send product to Walmart, they want to have global trade and global data synchronization on product, on how it's applied, on information about it for the logistics and supply chain. It's a great scenario for MDM. The product catalog that I outlined, the web e-business catalog, is a standout solution from MDM that MDG does not support. And the big one is consolidation, right? Getting the right data in the right format consolidated in a single repository for SAP and non-SAP. MDM is the solution for that today. However, SAP recognizes this, and there's some announcements that I'm going to be making around consolidation because it's not available today in MDG. And the last is unstructured content. There are others, but the major is unstructured content, where in MDM, in the single repository, you can put your content, your photographs, your contracts, your sales orders, your EBOMs, your P&IDs, piping and instrumentation diagrams, your schematics, your marketing information, your product information in a single MDM repository. With MDG, you can do this, but you have to integrate to a third-party enterprise content management solution, most likely OpenText or others. So it can be done, but it's not the same as MDM. So hopefully that gives you an appreciation of some of the differences between the two and similarities. But here's the big announcement. So the next major improvement on SAP MDG is that it will be running on HANA. This will give you record performance time, access, and an integration to SAP in a real-time environment. And MDG running on HANA can be running directly on HANA or running as a hub on HANA. But what it does most effectively is that it enacts this data consolidation scenario and distributed authoring. And so what this does is give you the ability to have that consolidation scenario running direct on HANA, ECC as a stack, right? The SAP suite running on HANA for central authoring, for consolidation, and distributed authoring. So what they're doing is that they're taking some of the strongest components of MDM, NetWeaver MDM, and bringing these features forward into MDG when MDG runs on HANA. And that is a huge, huge directional shift, but it also translates to the integrated information governance solution, which will allow you to manage your data in an ABAP stack, but also support SAP and non-SAP. It's a tremendous, tremendous win. And again, MDG today can support non-SAP data. However, the consolidation capabilities is not available until you run SAP MDG on HANA. And again, you can run it as a hub, right? So architecturally, you don't necessarily have to re-platform. A big announcement that's coming, and that is something that will really bring the capabilities of MDM, if you will, into MDG. So that's an outline of the products, and now a quick update on how to get started, right? Just some best practices. First and foremost, this is a journey, not a destination. Understanding the data model, the consumption requirements, right? How the data is going to be consumed, who has responsibility for the data, what are the standards and the business rules. Those are all key elements. Understanding the people, the roles, the resources, and change management. These are all key considerations for implementing an MDM solution. And by MDM, I'm talking, again, holistically, MDM the process versus MDM the product. And we would submit to you that MDM, when you're going down that process step, that journey, it's a lifestyle change rather than just a crash diet. It's understanding the impact to day sales outstanding for your CFO. Because if your invoices go out with tax IDs that read 9999X because somebody just fast forwarded during a create process of a customer and put in the wrong address, or put in Robert instead of Bob, or put in 9999X, the chances are of your customer paying that invoice in a timely manner is slim. And that is tens of millions of dollars in operating capital for days sales outstanding, which is corrupted by poor master data. So the most critical component in a successful MDM initiative is sustainment of the program by linking data to business process, business value, and reporting integrity. When we design an SAP solution for master data, whether it's MDM or MDG, we are going to start, as we talked about, the classic understand the data, set a strategy, get the data clean, and then keep the data clean. So governance and stewardship, right, the people and the process, the strategy, are the cornerstones. And when we do the design, and our recommendation is that about 70% of your effort is all here. The global data flow, the data analysis, understand the data. What are your business rules and process flows? Validations, approvals, and reporting. SLAs. Have I improved the speed in which a material master is created? And does that help ensure my new product introduction is streamlined? All of these elements in your blueprint translates to an efficient deployment phase. And one thing about Utopia is, because we partner so well with SAP, we also partner well with the services organization. So we have an aligned approach for implementation with SAP Services or with Utopia. The point is, you're getting consistency recognized by Gartner that allows you to get success for the project, not stampeding to the go live. And then once you're into deployment, then you can implement your standards and automate and see the operational benefits. From a project leading practices, these are some also good tips to understand, but understand that this is a journey. This is not just a project, it's more of a process or a program. And it's getting to that mindset to have the business understand and IT to understand that you will save time, money, and aggravation and have competitive advantage and trust in your reporting or optimizing a business process if we get the data right. And again, it's not just a single point in time, it's a life cycle approach. So whether it's MDM or whether it's MDG, you are talking about leveraging data to optimize processes, to optimize reporting integrity. How do we show this to you? How do we vision it, move from theory to vision to execution? One consideration is to, and we would invite you to join us at Utopia Labs. Utopia Labs is an innovative workshop environment where we have a cloud-based landscape for SAP where we can take your data in a secure way and show you how it's running on MDM, how it's running on MDG. Where does Information Steward integrate with MDG? How does Data Services integrate with MDG? And HANA. How can I show you bad data on HANA so you can make bad decisions faster? Or with mobility, you can make bad decisions anywhere in the world now. What we want to be able to show you is your data pre and post data governance and show you that for the life cycle and map it to your business. So it's an innovative workshop environment where we have these environments set up where we can leverage your data and take it for a test drive. It's called Utopia Labs, and it's something we're willing to sponsor and have you visit us, or we can take the labs environment to your location. Very, very innovative. So, tail of the tape. Well, MDM versus MDG. I hope I was able to outline the differences in the products, but most importantly, the direction that SAP is going with the investment of SAP MDG running on HANA, bringing forward that consolidation scenario, and that SAP best practice for information governance. When you enable data quality at the front end, and you ensure that those consistent drops of water coming in or maintenance on data is maintained consistently, you're off to a good start. But when you add out-of-the-box process-centric apps and workflows, that content from SAP, it accelerates your project success and gives you lots of best practices to leverage. Between the integration and, again, the configurable workflows and extensible data models for SAP and non-SAP, the tail of the tape, to me, even though I helped launch MDM, is just screaming MDG. And MDM, by the way, will be supported through 2020. SAP is committed to that solution, and they have invested in support through 2020. But from what I'm seeing and hearing from working with product management, solution owners, and the field, is that the investment clearly is MDG. Doesn't mean MDM is going away. What it simply means is that MDM was good and a solid foundation, and now they're taking it to the next level with best practices for information governance.